Heading now to Victoria, South and Western Australia. This year saw Melbourne, the nation's fashion and sporting capital, endure the most strict and longest lockdown in the country due to the pandemic. This was a stark contrast to South and Western Australia, who were relatively safe as border restrictions were put into place. Our Adelaide correspondent Dan Amazona will share more on this story. Dan?
The year 2020 has been an explosive year for the people here in Australia. From bushfires to global pandemic that rendered civilians immobilized, giving Australia the title of one of the toughest and longest lockdown restrictions in the world. Victoria was recorded as having the highest total number of COVID-19 cases in Australia, which resulted in a long, arduous lockdown that lasted more than 6 months. During the 6 months, Victoria returned to a tight lockdown from July to October, implemented by the government in order to control the rapid increase of cases. Now, 2 months after the easing of restrictions, Victorians have regained a small normalcy in their life. Work and school life has also returned for most people, while some enjoy their newfound freedom while maintaining COVID-safe regulations. Unlike other places in the world, South Australia has escaped the worst of the pandemic, experiencing only 566 total cases and 4 deaths since COVID-19 arrived in the state. Compared to other states in Australia, the people of South Australia experienced only mild restrictions in comparison, with the state government putting more trust in the people to follow health guidelines and act responsibly. An approach that has seemed to work. On the other hand, bushfires at the start of 2020 in places such as Adelaide Hills and Kangaroo Island have ravaged the state, killing wildlife and putting a multitude of ecosystems at risk. With bushfire season at the onset, such concerns are ever present for the people of South Australia. Meanwhile, in Western Australia, COVID-19 lockdown began on March and ended towards the end of April. During the strict month lockdown, borders to other states such as Victoria and New South Wales was closed off while schools were shut down early. The soft lockdown resulted in eliminating community transmission of the virus with only less than 20 unknown transmissions. By June, most restrictions have been lifted, allowing civilians more freedom to move around and do activities in certain places. As of December, Western Australia closed its borders from New South Wales after news of COVID cases were reported. It was advised that locals avoid traveling to New South Wales to prevent from spreading the virus. Government officials say that lifting the border restrictions might be possible in the coming days as long as they monitor the virus. In the remaining days of the year, Victorians and Western Australians continue their lives with the new normal in this time and age. The same goes for the people of South Australia, which is affectionately known as the Festival State, with all hoping that the state will soon be returned to its original festive glory. Government officials as well as civilians are hopeful that in the coming year, Australia will once again be able to return back to normal, stronger and healthier than ever. Reporting from Adelaide, Australia, this is Dan David Amazona of Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thanks, Dan. It's great to see Victoria and the other states bouncing back to a new normal.